Guys, this was an unscientific experiment that I did. And it really wasn't an experiment, it was just to see. But I got interesting results. I placed these 4 beverages outside on my patio overnight on January, what is this, January 20, today is January, I know it's Sunday, January 21st. So I set them outside on my patio, on my balcony, on Saturday night at 11 o'clock on January 20th. Temperature supposedly got down to about 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this Sprite, both of them stayed out for about 12 hours. It's 11:20 now. I set them out about 11 o'clock on, as I said, Saturday night, January 20th. And of course, as I just showed, it's about 11:20 on a Sunday morning, January 21st. And as I stated, this Sprite, it is frozen solid. This cherry Coke, notice, it's not frozen solid. It's cold, but it's not frozen solid. That's real strange how it's not frozen solid. But as I stated, you see this Sprite, it's beginning to thaw, but bottom line, this Sprite is frozen solid. Now, I put these 2 waters out there at the same time. This Deer Park, if you notice, this is not frozen solid. It is very cold. It is ice cold, but it's not frozen solid. And I also put this distilled water out. Of course, this is Simply Truth distilled water. You notice this one is frozen solid. This one is frozen solid. That's real interesting. That's real interesting. So, I guess like gasoline that goes in your car. Notice gasoline, it doesn't freeze. So I guess this stuff is like gasoline. And maybe even this Deer Park, it's like gasoline. It's supposed to be good natural spring water, but it doesn't freeze. Now you show me some water that really doesn't freeze in sub-freezing weather, then I'll show you something that has a lot of chemicals in it. Only thing I'm saying is possibly this distilled water doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it that allows it to naturally freeze. I know this Sprite, of course, is carbonated water, it has a lot of sugar in it, but apparently it doesn't have as much artificial stuff in it to keep it from freezing. Like I said, this is very unscientific. I'm not making any claims or anything. I'm just noting the difference. But one thing I do note, I'm going to minimize, which I've already done anyway, but I'm going to minimize putting this stuff in my system. Because if it doesn't freeze in cold, then that means, no, I ain't going to say what it means, but just imagine what it does when it goes in your body. Interesting fact. Like I said, temperature, it is sub-freezing. It's about 11:20 right now. Temperature is still about 20 plus degrees. I think it's about 26 degrees. I last checked on the news. Interesting.